Hi and welcome. So in this video I want to talk about a little feature inside the Orchestral tool Sine player that in my opinion is quite powerful but often overlooked. And I'm talking about the feature of morphing in between several articulations. So let's hop right into this. Okay, so let's come up with a few examples on how to use this. So the first one I want to do is that I want to load the sustains, and I'm using the Berlin Symphonic strings here by Orchestral tools. And also I want to, let's say, I want to morph in between sustains and tremolos. So I'm loading this patch into here too, but I don't want to load it as a separate MIDI channel here. Let's delete this again. I want to load it. You have to make sure that violence 1 is highlighted right below the sustains. And now it matters how you select these. There are two methods. You can use shift click. So I click sustains and then shift click tremolos. And I have to go over to the performance tab here and switch it to poly. So now if I say sustains and shift click tremolos, you can see that they are both activated. And switching is, let's say, sustains is on the lower part and tremolos on the higher part. And what that means, I will explain a bit. So tremolos, if I select this first and then shift select sustains, you can see that tremolos at the lower part and sustains at the higher part. You can also use the key switches by pressing again in the exact order C0 and C#0. You have sustains on the lower, tremolo on the higher. If I click C#0 first and hold it, that's the important part, and then click C0, you can see that tremolos is on the lower part. So it always depends on where you start. So for now, sustains, shift click tremolo, and you have sustains on the lower side and tremolo at the higher one. Now let's go to the options view, and you can see polymap. My polymap setting is, or my polymap CC command is set to 20. So I assigned this little atom SQ, this fade, this button here, this knob to CC20. And if I go back to the performance view, I set this to X fade. Okay, so you still have control over the dynamics. Let's move this up here. Okay, so let's set it to here right now. And when I move my CC20 fader, you can see that there's something moving here, okay? So when I play a chord now, and I move this fader, and I try move this knob, and I try to make it in one full round here, you can hear the following. So you heard that you were easily able to morph sustains into tremolo and then tremolo back into sustains. Let's record this little. So let's say we want to put the tremolo towards the end when it comes back to the C minor. So let's record this. Okay, so let's come up with another example. And I know this from many users that they would be, or that they would love to morph in between. When you go over here to the performance view, you can see that you have variations. You have expressive vibrato and subtle vibrato. And the thing is, you can just switch between those. And I know from many composers that they would love to morph in between, subtle vibrato to expressive vibrato. So what we simply do is we load the same sustain patch twice. Again, make sure that they are loaded as key switches here. And then we hop over to the performance view. We set the switch mode to poly, and we set one of these patches to expressive vibrato and the other one to subtle vibrato. What we do now, again, select the first one, the C0, and then shift click the C#0. And now we got both of these sustains layered on top or put in that same pie chart again here. And then we again say X fade. And when I just play these, so there you got it. Okay, third and last example, and many know this probably from the Cinematic Studio series, that you can, especially on short articulations, that you can move the mod wheel on that staccato program and it switches in between, for example, staccatissimo, staccato, marcato short, and marcato long. And you can do the same in the Sine player. And what we do to make this happen, let's load the staccatissimo samples, and I hopped over to JunkXL Brass. So staccatissimo, I next load staccato and make sure again it's right below staccato setup as a key switch. Then we load the marcato short, and then we load marcato long. Now let's hop over to the performance section. We set it to poly, and again we just click staccatissimo, shift hold, marcato long, so we got them all selected. And what happens now that staccatissimo is at the very lowest, let's say 25%, and staccato on 25 to 50%, then marcato short 50 to 75, and 75 to 100 we have marcato long. So what we do now is not set it to morph, but we just set it to switch. So this means that we don't morph staccato into marcato shorts, because it doesn't make, you know, kind of like sense to morph short notes into each other, because they are obviously too short. So what we do now is that when I play again, the dynamics are triggered with a velocity right now, but don't be fooled because it's set to CC, because we want to maintain the velocity dynamics, or the dynamics to be triggered by velocity, right? But we want to use CC20 again, which is again our controller for, let's say, the morphing, or to make all these switches happening. So now you can play staccatissemos, hopping over to staccatos, and I just have to move the mod wheel up a little bit because marcato is still triggered by the dynamics. So if we just switch over to it, let's. So even though these are pretty short, you can still, adjust the dynamic level. So let's again do this. Staccatissimo. Okay, that's it. Thank you for watching, and I hope I was able to give you a little bit of inspiration on how to layer, morph, or work with several articulations at once. Just in case if you don't like key switches like me, this comes in pretty handy. Again, thank you for watching. I would be really happy if you give my video a thumbs up. I would also be really happy if you subscribe to my channel, and stay tuned for my next video. Thank you so much, take care, and see you soon. Bye.